Good morning. All right, so morning of day 9, my last day of treatment. Another classic terrible lighting situation. This is so embarrassing as a filmmaker. But I am packing up here by the front door of my hotel room. I got all my stuff assembled here. Last night I went to sleep at 9:30 p.m. and I just woke up 10 minutes ago at 7:47. So a lot of good sleep making up for the night before, where if you watched the last video I made, I slept for an hour and a half. Let's see, what do I want to say? What I want to say is some really crazy things happened yesterday. I talked to Dr. Fong. She did a lunch and learn, and I asked her why the insomnia happens to some patients. It sounds like it's a fairly common sort of thing. And she talked about how at night, when humans are asleep, that's when their brains actually do the most I could have this wrong, but I might be messing up some of the words, but she said that basically that's when your brain does the most integration and reintegration from all the stuff that happened that day. It's basically like your brain is sort of like coming together, relaxing, integration. And so I was like, God, that's crazy, because that's actually, so what happens is during the day you do therapies and treatments where all these different parts are firing off and starting to reconnect, then that night when you're going to sleep, it could be that all these parts then are really starting to solidify those connections as you sleep. And so when those connections sort of solidify, this is a very rough description. I'm not an expert, people, but then you might end up waking up, or you might end up having a hard time to go to sleep, because suddenly, maybe for the first time in months or years, your brain is now communicating the way it's supposed to. And so it's literally waking up, but it wakes up at night. So anyway, I feel like that is a very good description of what happened to me, and I'll give you some evidence. So yesterday, on Wednesday, I took, so cognitive has always been probably one of the most challenging things that I do there. And cognitive is when they give you all sorts of tests, like deductive reasoning tests. And on Wednesday, one of the tests that they gave me took me, I believe the quote was 16 minutes and 47 seconds. On this test, I had to look at a grid of names across the top, and then activities, favorite food, something else across the side, and then I had to fill in all these things based upon sentences at the bottom that would give me hints. It took me 16 minutes and 47 seconds, and then I still couldn't even finish it on my own. Both of the practitioners had to give me hints. I still couldn't have done it without them. I took a test yesterday, so that was Wednesday. Then I had the insomnia overnight. Now we're on Thursday. Yesterday I went into cognitive, and I did a test even harder than that one, and I did it in less than 4 minutes. 16 minutes and 47 seconds, a night of insomnia. I feel sharper than ever. I only sleep an hour and a half, and then the next day I do the same activity, that even harder, so not the same but harder, and I do it in a fourth of the time, and it wasn't even hard. It was fun. So Wednesday, I'm sitting at a desk trying to do this activity, and I'm holding my head, and I'm just like, oh my God, I know this should be easy. Why can't I do this? Thursday, boom, 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 boom. Every test I did yesterday, I feel like they upped the ante and made it even harder. And it was not hard for me in every single thing that I went to. It was wild. So it was really great though to sleep from 9:30 till 7:47, and I really should get going now. So, I got to get breakfast, and I got my shuttle in 30 minutes. Let's see how the day goes. So I am recording this after
Thursday's activities at CFX are over. I am back at the Provo Residence Inn. I'm trying to talk just a little bit quietly because this is like a shared lobby space. Oh, in case you wanted to see, here's what the eating area looks like here where they do the continental breakfasts. Oh, and they do coffee all day long, which is pretty handy. All right, hopefully that'll stay up. So what I wanted to do was just, since I mentioned this to ad infinitum or ad nauseum is being a documentary filmmaker, at least I like to capture moments that aren't rehearsed. So, but I'm not normally capturing myself in the camera. Normally I'm interviewing someone else and trying to get authentic reaction. So I was sitting here gathering my thoughts, like, what do I want to say? What do I want to say? And then I was like, well, if I was interviewing someone, I would say, don't think about what you want to say till I get my cameras out. And then let's just get your authentic, whatever it is you're going to say. So I decided, all right, I'll just roll the old camera, the cell phone camera, and just try to get this out in real time. So basically, when you leave on Friday, you don't do any treatments on Friday. So really, Thursday is your last day. So yeah, today's my last day of treatments, and I'm just, it's just different, like what it means when it's over. And I also, of course, want to stress, like, this is what it means to me. My experience is not what everyone experiences. I hope that everyone experiences what I have experienced, but I know that it's not that way. And of course, the way healing is non-linear. Of course, there's good chances I'll still have some pretty rough days in my future. But overall, like it's weird. I hesitate to say this because I know so many people out there are struggling with their concussions, and so many people might not ever be able to make their way to a place like this. But my experience of my recovery there has been just so unexpected and so spectacular. That's the word I would use. Like, I'm not really sure what to do with it. Like, the implications that it means now are sort of staggering. Like, when I left my home, I was still spending most of my life hiding from light, avoiding social situations, avoiding, loud environments, any environments, or I couldn't control the level of sound or light. And now, like, that's has all changed. And it's going to be weird to go back and be basically living life like a different person. All day long I asked myself, like, what if this is as far as I get, the way I am right now, leaving this building on Thursday, meaning this building when I was still at CogFX. And I was just like, if I leave and this is as good as it gets, I am so happy. Like, I don't care if I get better, any more better than I am now, because this is 100% better than I was. I'm not 100%, but it feels like 100% difference. It's just crazy. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how these people know what they know. Like, here's a great example. In the 9th inning, right, I've got like 30 minutes left in my last treatment, my last session with a doctor there named Dr. Toshi. I'm not going to mess up his last name because I haven't memorized it, but just, it's Toshi. Or Tashi. Sorry, Toshi or Tashi, if I'm saying your name. Well, one of the times I said it right. One of the names I said it was right. But he's just like, hey, so is there any last thing you want to talk about? And I was like, oh yeah, there is this other one weird thing that happened. This one time I went trail running, And it was easy for me to identify because I've only been trail running one time since my accident. No, sorry. One time, not since my, so I had my accident. I sort of was feeling like I was getting better. I did trail run twice with my son, but then I had like this crazy big relapse of symptoms, and I've been a mess ever since. That relapse was like 2 months in. So since then, I've only trail run once. And when I laid on the ground after that trail run, I could not track where the ground was, where the space was around me, where my body was. I just felt like a brain floating in empty space. And I had to lay there a pretty long time because trying to get up, I was so off balance. It was crazy. And I have not tried to run since. So I was asking him about that, and then he was able to connect it to what happens to me when I'm on my bicycle. And then he was able to do all these tests, all this muscle testing and all this balance testing. And he just narrowed it down. And then finally, I saw the light go off in his head, and I was just like, did you just logic this out? And he was like, yep, pretty sure I know what it is. And then, he typed it up in my notes for ongoing practices and activities that I should do when I get back to, and, to keep the healing going. But I mean, that's how it is. Like, you look at these people and the knowledge that they have, and you're just like, how? But okay, I know you know it, and I know you're smart, and I know you went to college and blah, 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 but how did you do that? Like, this makes no sense. It is like voodoo. It's crazy. It's crazy, like, how their minds work and the benefit that can be derived from them just working with you and working so hard on, like, because it's not like an easy answer. Every patient they see is different. There's there's commonalities among patients, but you watch these people work with all these different people, and you're like, wow, that person they're working with over there, they're kind of like me symptomatically, but there's this difference, and that therapist now has to figure out what that difference is so they can help that person. And so it's just, it's amazing. I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but that's what you get when it's unrehearsed. So, yeah, so I guess I'm just, turning it all over in my brain and trying to deal with the enormity of the changes that I've been through in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna stop talking about that and kind of pivot to tomorrow. So tomorrow is the very last day, and I will be doing my exit fMRI scan. So that means, like, I've mentioned this before in previous episodes. So basically, when you get your fMRI results, they do stuff. They give you a report, and then they print it out on these cool little cards. I mean, they give you a bigger version too, but this little version they attach to this carabiner, and then when you go to different sessions, sometimes the session expert will refer to these and go, hey, we're going to be working on why, see this black dot down here, it's supposed to be up in the white, so let's see what we can do to get this thing to hopefully move. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an exit fMRI, and they're going to compare all these results on all these cards. Like, hopefully what we will see is, where am I in this? So that's solid black bar. So this is the severity index scale dealie. And I don't know if I have that exactly right, but it's severity index something. I think it's severity index composite score. So basically, how bad is your concussion and symptoms? And so most healthy populations are down here in the green, yellow, not doing so good, red, pretty poor. And I am up here. I'm the black line here. So it's a 0 to 3 scale, and I'm up here, 2.6 something. And so hopefully what we will see is that this number has come down. What I want to say about that, though, is it doesn't mean that even if it's down here that you're asymptomatic when you leave here. They're putting together this whole package of activities and challenges and protocols for me to work on when I get back, because it still is going to take a while. I still have symptoms that persist. Like I have the amount of, like I said, the amount of relief that I'm experiencing. I'm okay if none of these other extra difficult to tackle symptoms ever go away. Like I'm just so happy to have what I have back. Like, it's okay, guys. It's okay if I lose my balance when I do this. It's okay if I can't ride my bike again. Like, really, I'm good. Like, I know that now I can hold down a job. As long as it's not around too much light, because still, I do suspect a long period of light exposure might still get to me, but I'm going into a new field of work in realty anyway, where I won't be exposed to tons of artificial lights. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to do the exit interview, and we'll just talk about all sorts of things. I'll do like a final neuromuscular test, and they'll compare those baselines with my baselines on day one. And and they basically just talk to you about stuff. I mean, I don't know what it all is, but I'll find out. Hold on a second. And I changed my mind about this hotel coffee from the first episode I did here. It's actually pretty tasty.